In our last video, we gave you tips on how to tile a shower wall using 3x6 subway tile in a curbless shower. We use an angle grinder with a diamond blade to scribe cut the first row of tile to the contour of that shower pan. This creates a lot of dust, and so today we wanted to show you 3 different tools that you can use to cut down on that dust and make your work environment much safer. The first tool we're going to go over is the Fein Turbo 2X AC HEPA vacuum. There are a few reasons why we're going to start using this when we cut tile with an angle grinder. Because this is a HEPA vacuum, it captures contaminants down to 0.3 microns in size. And the auto clean feature automatically cleans the HEPA filter every few seconds. Now the other cool thing is you can plug an angle grinder into the Turbo 2. The plug is right here and you simply plug in the grinder. What that means is when you turn on the angle grinder, this will automatically turn on with it. To have the HEPA vacuum turn on when the angle grinder is in use, turn the on-off switch to this setting. The other thing to know is that you can adjust the airflow going to the angle grinder right here. So it goes from min to max. We're just going to turn it up to max. In order for the Turbo 2 to work properly, you have to set it up correctly. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. But first, the reason why we're excited is there's now a new dust collection cover that works with the Turbo 2 and any angle grinder. In order for the Turbo 2 to properly cut down on dust, there are 2 additional things that you need to do. It comes with a special disposable bag for all the debris, so we need to install that. There's a handle both on the right and left side of this. You just pull up on the handle and remove the motor unit. By the way, this is where the HEPA filter is located, right here. So there is a vacuum socket, the black vacuum socket there. What you need to do is put that bag, there's a hole in the bag, it goes over the collar in that socket. So the hole that I'm pointing to here, that goes over the black socket. And it's really important to do that the right way, because what you're gonna do is use a twist tie to secure this bag to the vacuum socket. So simply tighten a twist tie around the vacuum socket and bag. Then you can put the vacuum container lid back in place. There's a tab in the hose. You just line this up with the slot that's in the vacuum. And then you slightly twist it clockwise to lock it in place. The next step is for us to add the dust collection cover to our angle grinder. The reason the dust collection cover is so important is without it, you can see there's a lot of dust, but with it, that's a totally different story. In this example, we're going to be using the Fein WSG7. It's a 4.5-inch angle grinder, and we're going to be adding this dust collection cover to it. This cover has a connector, and there's already a preset connector on it that fits the WSG7. That said, it comes with different connectors that you can use with a variety of different grinders. These are the other connectors that come with the dust collection cover, and they all go right here. You can swap them out depending on which type of grinder you're using. These are different spacers that you need that go between the grinder and the base flange. These spacers are all different heights, and you need to choose the one that fits your grinder. We're going to be using this one right here for the Fein WSG7. And finally, this is the base flange that comes with the dust collector. You need to use this after you insert the spacer. This is what we need to do to put the dust collection cover on our angle grinder. First, take off the threaded flange and the grinder's base flange. If there's a wheel guard on the grinder, remove that. Make sure you have the right connector in place. There are 2 screws on the connector, one here and one here. Just loosen them by turning them counterclockwise. This connector will then connect to your angle grinder. Now just tighten the 2 screws on the connector. This is the height adjuster. I'm just going to move this up to the lowest position, which I'll explain later. I'm trying to make the base of this as parallel with my angle grinder as possible. This connector should be as tight as possible, and this should not be loose in relation to the grinder. The cover needs to be tight because it touches the surface of the object that you're cutting. Loosen this nut, and that allows you to pull up on the dust collector. This next step is really important. You need to have the right spacer for your grinder, and also you need to use the base plate that comes with the dust collector. Slide the spacer over the spindle and then face the base plate indented side down over the spacer. That allows you to install your diamond blade like so, and the diamond blade fits over the base plate ring right here. Just make sure that the arrows on your diamond blade face the correct direction. Then you can use the threaded flange, press down on this locking button, and tighten down the threaded flange. Slide the cover back in place and tighten down this nut. In this example, we know that the diamond blade is installed correctly because it's in line with this little notch in the cover. That notch is also what you can use to line up the blade with what you're cutting. You have the ability to adjust the depth of cut by loosening this nut and moving the cover up and down. The depth of cut scale for the 4.5-inch angle grinder is labeled D115, and it goes in millimeter increments. So for example, 5, 10, 15 millimeters. In this example, we need to connect the rubber hose connector to the dust collector. So we're just gonna slide this rubber hose over the port on the dust collector. Then we're gonna use this tool adapter that comes with the Fein Turbo 2. We're gonna slide this over our hose, like so, and then we can connect this to the dust collector. But before we do that, we're going to put a clamp over top of everything. And then we're going to install this. Just tighten down this stainless steel hose band. By the way, do all this assembling without the angle grinder plugged in, and also manually spin the blade to make sure it's not hitting anything. One of the things we really like about this HEPA vac is that the hose is super long. So if you wanted to have the HEPA vac outside the room while you're cutting tile, that's a possibility. We have the angle grinder plugged into the HEPA vac. We have the on switch set to the tool setting, and we're setting this to max airflow. When the HEPA vac is plugged in, you'll see the lights turn on for the auto clean functionality. The other thing that I'm going to do just for safety is push down on the locks for the casters. That way the HEPA vac is locked in place and isn't going to roll away. Now here's the deal, even though we're using all this safety gear, we still highly recommend that you wear a silica dust respirator. This is from Sunstrom, hearing protection and eye protection. So make sure you wear your safety gear. All right, let's make some cuts in tile and see how this performs. So again, when you turn the angle grinder on, that will trigger the HEPA vac to turn on as well. And as you can see here, it kind of is moving. That is the auto clean functionality working in the HEPA vac. All right, this is the first cut that we're going to make in a standard 4x12 subway tile without the HEPA system. You see a lot of dust. This is with all of our protective equipment installed, so no dust whatsoever. Let's do a frontal view with just the wheel guard on. Again, very dusty. Now this is with our dust collection system, and you'll see here, and it just takes me a little bit to get the notch lined up with the line that I made on the subway tile, and there are a few little plumes of dust on the bottom, but they get sucked up real quick into the HEPA vac. So now we're going to be making a cut into grout on a floor. So we're just making a cut here with just the wheel guard installed, no HEPA system installed, lots of dust, and it's going right back into my face, which isn't good. You can see here how much dust is on the floor. Now with the HEPA vac and the dust collection system put together, no dust whatsoever. As you can see here, it's nice and smooth. We're making a nice long cut. And just as a side note, it wasn't that hard to keep this tile blade in line with the grout joint because of the notch in the dust collection system. So there, as you see, not a lot of dust whatsoever. As you saw, there's a huge difference between using this dust extraction system and not. Let us know what your thoughts are down in the comments. We'll also put links to these items down in the description. That way you can check them out for yourself. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next one.